Imagine a company on the brink, a tech giant, once a fierce competitor, now bleeding cash.
AMD slashing its Q2 revenue outlook, citing disappointing sales in China and Europe.
Shedding employees and staring down the barrel of bankruptcy.
The company's massive debt load, low cash levels, and lack of profitability. Cutting 10% of its workforce. That's about 1,400 employees.
They're expecting revenues to decline 11%.
Investors punishing the shares late yesterday. Take a look at that, off by 9%.
In this video, we'll dive deep into AMD's abyss, the Bulldozer Era. We'll uncover the internal battles, the management miscalculations, and the billion-dollar gamble that nearly destroyed the company. We'll witness a powerful redemption arc sparked by a visionary leader. It's a story of the sheer will to survive. So get ready, as we are about to unfold how AMD pulled off the greatest comeback of all time. AMD, upon launching Bulldozer the processor, made bold claims.
An incredible different level of graphics and video capabilities in a microprocessor. It's the biggest innovation in PC processors over the past 30 years.
The most important thing about the Bulldozer architecture is basically performance. Performance to do more, performance to do the gaming at a different level.
Bulldozer, high ambitions meeting real-life consequences. Conceived as a radical shift in architecture, it was AMD's audacious bet that a new approach to the x86 core design would leapfrog the competition. The idea was audacious: modularity. Each module, a self-contained unit, would house two integer cores linked together, designed to squeeze every last drop of efficiency from the silicon. The promise was parallelism. Even if it meant sacrificing instructions per cycle, they were betting on the raw throughput. But the reality was a brutal awakening. The Bulldozer single-threaded performance, the speed at which it handled individual tasks, was devastatingly slow. Slower, in fact, than the very processor it was meant to supersede. What really paved the road to the Bulldozer's failure was the internal situation at AMD. As development became a pressure cooker of unrealistic deadlines, internal disagreements between management and engineers started to heat up. Engineers had deep reservations about the design, while management kept ordering them to disregard their opinions, creating a big separation in the Bulldozer division. Engineers explained the inherent compromises in the design, its bottlenecks, and the crippling cache latency, which later found to be the reason why the CPU cores were struggling to operate in their limited scope. However, management craved a victory.
We can be the leaders. We don't need to look left or right. That's not what we are. We're got to become the hunters. We have to look forward. We have to go attack the hill.
Therefore, the narrative took precedence over reality. While you might side with engineers here, management didn't really have a choice, as AMD bet the farm on the Bulldozer product, and they were right, as it was flying off the shelves in the beginning, while the other products didn't make enough profit for AMD to keep them. Management was just doing a solid business decision. However, Bulldozer consumed far more power than it was supposed to, making it a worse choice compared to competition and even to other AMD products. This is why management was hoping they would survive this hit in the short term until something better came along. However, they were unable to improve it, costing them $1 billion, and this is the billion of 2012 we're talking about. As a result, the market reacted with swift and merciless judgment.
Let's take a look at AMD, and the question really here is just how much worse can it get?
Reviews eviscerated Bulldozer's performance. Benchmark charts painted a stark picture of failure. And sales, they plummeted.
AMD is slashing its second quarter revenue outlook. The chipmaker seeing disappointing sales in China and Europe. AMD now expects revenues to drop 11% sequentially. That will be the worst quarter-on-quarter decline since the fourth quarter of 2008.
Simply because the market wanted blazing fast single-threaded performance, not parallelism. Bulldozer was more than a technological stumble. It was a financial catastrophe, a costly testament to the perils of unchecked ambition and managerial oversight. AMD had put all of its eggs in one basket, well, and it was rotten, causing shockwaves through AMD's financial structure as revenue streams dried up and profits vanished. This is why AMD resorted to drastic measures. They liquidated assets with ruthless efficiency. Factories, buildings, entire divisions were sold off to stop the bleeding. They even cut R&D budgets, the lifeblood of innovation, crippling AMD's future prospects. If this was a basketball team, this meant trading all your draft picks for the next 20 years. Not just that, but also layoffs.
A lot of good men and women work for this company. Stock's getting whacked, down 60% year to date. They unveiled a drastic restructuring that's going to cut about 15% of its workforce. That means about 1,800 jobs. The company just continues to burn through cash.
As well as firing CEOs who didn't contribute to the vision.
AMD sliding big time after this management shakeup. Of course, the CFO leaving,
which turned the chip manufacturer into a literal hell for its employees. Each day brought AMD closer to the brink. All it would take was another bad bet and it would fall apart, as many experts predicted it would go bankrupt by 2015.
Bankruptcy at AMD and CBS, and that's some scary stuff on this list.
AMD couldn't stop the bleeding as its market share dwindled to a fraction of its former glory. The company, once a fierce challenger to the titans of Silicon Valley, is on the verge of oblivion. AMD desperately needed a lifeline, a catalyst to change the game, and change it did. Bringing you this in-depth video took months of work done entirely on my own, so if you find it valuable, hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications is the best way to show your support. Plus, you'll be the first to know when I release new videos. Alright, back to the video. As 2012 came in, a quiet spark of rebellion ignited within the company's walls. That spark's name, Lisa Su, a tech genius, an immigrant girl, or a women empowerment leader.
5% women leading Fortune 500 companies in 20 years. I'm truly amazed by that number. I can say that is definitely progress, right? We're engineers, so we like to see progress, but I can also say we have so much more opportunity.
Back in 1969, she was born in Taiwan. Lisa Su's journey began with a choice her parents made. At the age of 2, she and her family left everything behind, immigrating to the United States, chasing the promise of a better future. Her father, a statistician, and her mother, a driven entrepreneur, instilled in her a relentless work ethic and an insatiable curiosity.
I actually grew up in New York. My parents were typical Asian parents, and they do like all parents, wanting their children to be successful. They encouraged my brother and I to really study math and science, and that's what we did as kids.
Encouraged by her parents, Lisa developed this need to open puzzles, to discover the hidden secrets objects had. It wasn't enough to just understand how things worked. She needed to know them. For Lisa, every circuit board, every wire, every component held a secret, waiting to be unlocked, and she was there to do the unlocking. This need to uncover things grew with her as she grew towards MIT, the best engineering university in the world.
I became an engineer because I really like to build things. I actually went to MIT for college, and very interestingly, I decided to do electrical engineering as my major.
This is where Lisa Su truly transformed.
It's, I was what they call a lifer at MIT, so I did my undergraduate, master's, and PhD.
Her focus? Silicon on insulator technology, the very building blocks of the digital age. But somehow, Lisa felt that wasn't enough.
What was most interesting to me, yes, I liked working on my own research and I had some good ideas, but what was much more fun was seeing teams get together and do things that, frankly, we didn't think were possible.
So she took a leap towards IBM, where she spent the next 13 years of her life in different engineering and managerial roles.
I was at IBM in the mid-90s. We were working at the forefront of semiconductor devices.
Did a lot of stuff around our semiconductor R&D and sort of the next generation processor technologies.
Her main achievement being a core part in a revolutionary shift, replacing aluminum with copper in microchips, a change that boosted efficiency and performance and shattered previous limitations. In 2012, she was approached by AMD's board member Nick Donofrio, who saw someone that can change the fortunes of AMD, so he offered to take her away from a comfortable perch for a promise of something more, a chance to rebuild, to innovate, to lead a true turnaround. Choosing Lisa was a calculated bet. PhD from MIT, battle-tested at IBM, experience with silicon, experience with leading tech teams, yet she possessed something even more critical, a vision. Lisa Su was about to make a very hard decision. Should she stay and enjoy her comfortable position with all the incentives in the whole world, or take AMD's route and fill that childhood void, the need to break things and build them again? Not just that, but also to have a shot at being the captain of a bigger ship.
And here you're going to have the opportunity to lead a major semiconductor company.
It was a tough choice, but Lisa decided to jump ship towards AMD, which was still bleeding cash, still riddled with debt, and still crippled from layoffs.
Yes, you're right, it wasn't the best time.
The truth, AMD needed a miracle. Lisa Su arrived not offering one, but promising to build one brick by brick. So in January 2012, she stepped into the role of Senior Vice President, General Manager, a title that hid the sheer scale of the challenge ahead. Many saw a sinking ship, but Lisa Su saw a vessel capable of sailing the high seas, but needing a complete overhaul. AMD wasn't just looking for a manager, it was searching for a visionary, someone who could understand the complexity of chip design while simultaneously charting a course for a future where AMD didn't just compete, but conquered. And the ultimate test came in 2014.
It's a phone call you get from your chairman of the board, and he said, "Lisa, can you talk?" I'm like, "Sure." And he goes, "It's time. The board has made a decision. They would like you to be the next CEO."
Lisa Su became CEO. The task ahead was Herculean.
You're going to have the opportunity to lead a major semiconductor company.
She is the only CEO of an American semiconductor company ever.
I was pretty confident that we had the right pieces. They just needed to be put together.
Lisa found AMD in a uniquely bad situation. Externally, AMD was drowning in $2.2 billion of debt, dwindling revenues, plummeting market share, and products perceived as inferior plagued the company. AMD was forced to sell its headquarters just to stay afloat. Internally, chaos reigned, layoffs had gutted morale, trust was broken, and employees hit rock bottom. Lisa Su's response was not panic, but precision.
So without a doubt today, I have even much stronger conviction about what we're capable of doing. I think my dreams as CEO is to make us a great company. And it's really as simple as that.
Her leadership was a masterclass in strategic vision, relentless innovation, and unwavering financial discipline. She meticulously assessed AMD's weaknesses, identified its strengths, and charted a course toward the future built on high-performance computing and graphics. She balanced the immediate need for financial discipline with a long-term vision for growth. She anticipated market trends, positioning AMD to capitalize on current market situations.
I love building products and bringing teams together, and through that and a lot of support and membership, I came along the way.
AMD's high bandwidth memory technology with our GPUs.
In the months and years that followed, Lisa shaped a new powerful trend within AMD. Investment in research and development soared to unprecedented levels. signaling a profound commitment to innovation.
Innovation is it really only happens when you bring people together with different backgrounds and different experiences who can really solve problems together.
Not just that, but also she made strategic partnerships with Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Sony, expanding AMD's reach and influence.
You know, we're best when we're the innovators, and I want to make sure that that's always our highest priority and we never forget.
Lisa led an ambitious departure from AMD's existing designs towards new architectures, new products that would challenge the industry.
Look at our history. We've always brought out those products that change the industry.
Therefore, she empowered the engineering teams, providing them with the resources and autonomy needed to innovate freely, paving the way towards the new dawn, the Zen architecture.
And we wanted to build a CPU that not only served the PC market, but really went across all applications, including PCs, all the way through cloud data centers.
Sue ensured that Zen architecture was not just a one-off project, but a foundation for future generations of AMD processors. She knew it can potentially change the industry forever. Therefore, she emphasized scalability and adaptability, ensuring that Zen could be adopted to a wide range of applications from desktop PCs to servers. This sense of purpose fueled the team's dedication and ultimately led to the creation of groundbreaking architecture that transformed AMD's fortunes, which signaled statement across the industry: AMD is back, stronger and more innovative than ever before.
I'm leading a company with a 45-year-old heritage of bringing leading technology into the industry.
The sparks of rebellion that Lisa Su ignited at AMD were more than just a corporate turnaround. They were a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a promising vision and the determination to challenge the status quo can change the course of history.
We started Ryzen 4 years ago, and it was a complete new design to build the high-performance CPU for tomorrow, because the time for Ryzen has arrived.
AMD announced Ryzen, their rise from the abyss they were in, and a new dawn for them. Ryzen was more than just a processor, it was a complete reimagining of the CPU landscape.
Today is all about Ryzen. We are going to increase the instructions per clock by 40%. That was our ambitious goal. We beat it by a lot.
The first generation, the Ryzen 1000 series, was launched in 2017. Introduced the Ryzen 7 1800X with its 8 cores and 16 threads, which directly challenged Intel's high-end offerings at a significantly lower price point. AMD did not shy away from comparing its products with Intel, even publicly.
If you take a look at our scores and compare it to the Intel 6900K, we actually beat the 6900K, a $1,000 processor with our Ryzen 7 1700X.
This launch sent shockwaves across Intel and the semiconductor industry as a whole. Aggressive pricing was a key element of AMD's strategy, linking its name with performance and affordability, which solidified its place in the market and created a chance for a comeback. Lisa innovated the way CPUs are designed. They innovated their architecture in a way that allowed them to scale core counts efficiently, boosting performance while keeping modest power consumption levels without raising the manufacturing costs. And if you think the innovation stops here, then you have not been paying attention. The Ryzen 2000 series, a refinement based on the 12nm process, delivered incremental improvements. But the real turning point arrived with the Ryzen 3000 series, launched in July 2019 and fabricated on a leading-edge 7nm process, which enabled double the performance, critical metric for scientific computing and content creation. Industry observers were stunned. The Ryzen 3000 series were finally able to offer a credible alternative to Intel in almost every workload. AMD and Lisa didn't just stop there. They were in a lead, and they are not gonna let it slip away. This is why The Ryzen 5000 series, featuring the Zen 3 architecture, redefined the playing field. It minimized latency and maximized efficiency.
It increases our lead in power efficiency,
which made AMD surpass Intel in gaming, with the top 3 gaming CPUs coming from AMD. Not just that, but they have achieved single-threaded performance leadership.
It delivers the best single-threaded performance and gaming performance as well.
AMD shocked the world when it made the biggest market share increase in the last 11 years. This growth was explosive. By 2019, AMD commanded 30% of the CPU market. Ryzen wasn't just a CPU, it was a redemption. In life and in business, you either have a good quality and high pricing, or a low quality and low pricing. But what if you got the best of both worlds? This was Lisa's pricing strategy, which was perfectly executed, maintaining the prices in an affordable range for most users, with prices ranging from $259 and $449, while also competing against Intel in the high-end market of $500 and above, proving that performance didn't require emptying wallets, which made it popular amongst gamers, tech enthusiasts, and content creators. Lisa, to finish the transformation, knew it needed a strong GPU lineup. This is why Radeon stepped in. The Radeon legacy began with ATI Technologies, a graphics innovator acquired by AMD in 2006 for $5.4 billion. This acquisition, while initially straining AMD's finances, laid the foundation to what's about to come decades later. Radeon GPUs had a reputation for solid performance, but often lagged behind Nvidia in the high-end segment. Leading the innovation again, Lisa introduced the RDNA architecture, abandoning the GCN architecture, which had become increasingly outdated. Lisa orchestrated the building of RDNA, which was designed from the ground up for gaming, with the goal of delivering exceptional experience for gamers. The Radeon RX 5000 series, launched in 2019 and built on TSMC's 7nm process, showcased RDNA's capabilities and validated Lisa's genius. The RX 5700 XT in particular offered competitive performance against Nvidia's RTX 2070 Super. In gaming and in desktop usage, similar VRAM, yet a drastic difference of price, which again cemented AMD's name with affordable performance. Radeon's focus wasn't just profit, it was about offering real value to their community. This is why most of their GPUs often have the same or more VRAM and a lower price than their equivalent on Nvidia. Again, making Radeon GPUs the perfect choice for people with a budget. Often found on Reddit celebrating the joining of Team Red and celebrating their latest addition to their setup. The culture Lisa built refused to stagnate, as they built the RDNA 2 architecture powering the Radeon RX 6000 series, marking another major leap, with features like hardware-accelerated ray tracing and support for PCIe 4. The RX 6000 series challenged Nvidia's dominance in the high-end GPU market. AMD focused on increasing performance per dollar ratios, which resonated with gamers again. AMD GPUs are often in high demand. Their frequent unavailability is a consistent topic within the AMD community on social media, proving their popularity among gamers. AMD's progress translated directly into a dramatic surge in stock value. In 2019, the share price soared 131% from $19.8 all the way to $45.8, driven by strong financial performance. $6.73 billion revenue, representing a 4% year-over-year increase and improved gross profits. AMD delivered across the board, launching innovative laptop chips, higher performing desktop CPUs, and a robust lineup of GPUs for desktops, laptops, and workstations. The company also forged strategic partnerships with Microsoft Azure and Amazon AWS, expanding its presence in the critical data center space. These successes propelled the stock to a 14-year peak. This was more than just architectural improvements, it was a complete turnaround in AMD's financial health. $112 per share value, a contrasting picture to where it stood a decade ago. The AMD of today is not the company of yesterday. Forged in the fires of adversity, they have emerged stronger, leaner, and more innovative than ever before. From gamer rigs to supercomputers, AMD's technology is powering the future. They've not only caught up, but in many areas they've surpassed their rivals. But the journey is far from over. The landscape of computing is constantly evolving, with new challenges and opportunities emerging on the horizon. Can AMD maintain its momentum? Can they continue to push the boundaries of what's possible? One thing is certain, the Phoenix has risen and it's ready to soar. The Titans have been warned. Fascinating story, right? But while Lisa Su was leading AMD to victory, what was happening within Intel? I've made a video uncovering the story of one individual who fought to keep Intel innovative during the same period. Was he successful? Click the thumbnail to dive into that story right now. I'll see you there in a second.